you out of it.
How did you do that?
And good morning, and it's the early morning Sunday show coming to you on Sunday. Because it just makes sense. Got a little Buddy Guy action going here. We got a little Blues Brothers action going on here. And you're saying to yourself, this is going to be great. It's going to be a blues episode. You would think, wouldn't you? But there's not a blues album in here. I really need to get some, though. We do have some shoegaze, brand new. Big surprise. No wave. Yeah, that is a thing, believe it or not. Some jazz, yes, jazz, for you, Peter. And what we got there, that's kind of 80s, and that's from a garage rock. Yeah, it's eclectic. Not as eclectic as it should be. I got to keep working on that. But welcome. Okay, the opening, Rocky Mountain National Park from a few weeks back. I have so much loaded Colorado footage to share, just so you can see what the scenery is like out here. Unless you live out here, then you've seen it and you go, oh yeah, okay, cool. But it is beautiful. Heading out again today. All that snow from last week we saw in that video, over 2 feet of snow, almost all gone. The sun is intense here, so it just kind of melts stuff off. So yeah, that didn't take long. The flood, we were part of a lawsuit on the flood, a class action lawsuit against the people that owned the 2 dams that broke and it wiped out everything. And we had claims. It was about $300,000 that I had lost, record collection, a massive card collection. There's a stamp collection. There's other things down there too. I mean, yeah, that there was a lot down in that basement. It's around $300,000. We got the check for a class action lawsuit. I got $700. Yeah, hey, yay, 700. I guess I didn't have to do anything. Well, I had to fill out a hell of a lot of paperwork, like 20 different times. We need to have you fill this out again. Hey, can you do this again? And It's like, and I was like, really? Is this really going to be worth it? Well, yeah, it's going to be worth it. I says, is it? You think so? Yeah. Well, it's worth $700, I guess. So there you have it. Justice is served. Declare bankruptcy and get out of it. I'm sure the law firm did quite well as usual, but yeah, $700. Cheers. I also need to mention on my podcast, 2 Guys Talking About Records, I do with Jim Gleason. You can find that on YouTube on the channels Radio Wasteland on YouTube or on Spotify, iHeart. It's on Facebook and Apple. This week, I'd done that thing a few weeks back, what to do with your record collection. We're going to talk about that on this, but we're actually bringing in a lawyer to kind of talk about things you can do. If you have a record collection, what can you do? Some items, because they deal with this kind of stuff. So, some different thoughts about this. So tune into that, 2 Guys Talking About Records. Shout out. I want to shout out now, Institute of Pop is a new channel. Institute of Pop, maybe been around 6 months, can't call it real new. 225 subs, that's not doing too bad. Out of Australia. He does a lot of interesting, like he'll take albums, he'll do album reviews. Obviously looking at the different music that he's looking at. Not just Australian-based Mike Rankin, but more global. Yeah, very nice channel, great presence, enjoyable to listen to. So that's Institute of Pop. Another one is Richard S. And the States, he has 112 subs. He's doing what I would call a shoegaze primer. And he just put out the 3rd part, looking at shoegaze, kind of building it up, where it's come from, great shoegaze albums. and what's happening. And, there's been a great renaissance of shoegaze music and changing it around. So Richard S. Both channels worth taking a look at, see what you think. If you like them, give them a sub, and, support them. So there we go. That's a couple shout outs for this week. So yeah, fantastic. Okay. All right, but we're going to begin here. The very first album is a brand new one from a gal called Tess Parks. Tess Parks. And Pomegranate is the name of this album. It just came out maybe about a month ago. Now, Tess Parks, she's out of Toronto. Go Canada! So we got some, part of my Canadian scene happening here. And she was born in 1992, so kind of a young lady, shall we say. Well, yeah, she's younger than both my boys. The music is dreamy, psychedelic. Probably what you could best put it at. When she was 10 years old, she went to a concert. She went to see Oasis. And that concert had such an effect on her, she picked up the guitar. And, music became an important part of her life. Then when she started, she did 2 albums. She did 2 albums and this is one I already had, with Anton Newcomb. And Anton Newcomb is from Brian's Jonestown Massacre. And both those albums are really good. Excellent albums if you see them out there. Anton Newcomb has a great voice, and I really, really like these. They did with Tess Parks. Now, the album here, got it off Fuzz Club. Surprise, surprise. Lyrics. And the vinyl. Man, look at that. Yellow, okay. It's kind of a lemon. Yeah, we'll give that kind of a lemon, like a lemon cake or something, which I do like. So that's the vinyl. So Pomegranate is the name of the album. Came out in 2024, and I would call it's kind of soulful, psychedelic. It's dreamlike. Let's call it shoegaze for the 2020s, okay? As I mentioned, there's this renaissance of shoegaze, and a lot of different bands doing it, but trying to push it forward. And she's one of those. This is, I would call a great wind-down album. Very positive lyrics in here. The music is sweeping. It's just slowly shifting, kind of beneath her quiet lyrics. You really have to listen to kind of pick things up. That's why it's nice when they write the lyrics down. There's no guitar solos. It's just about atmosphere. And that's what you get. You get a lot of atmosphere on here. She does have this a little darker sounding voice, but it works beautiful in this field of with the dream pop and the shoegaze. So Pomegranate. I also had picked up then her second album. This came out in 2022. And this one, and Those Who Were Seen Dancing. Isn't that a cool sound? We got the inner sleeve here and lots of lyrics. That, I'm not sure, kind of different. What do we got in here? And it's just black vinyl. Ooh, weird. Who does black vinyl? And there was one other thing. What do we got? Oh, okay. So, all right. There we have it. That's all the stuff that comes in there. And so this album here, second album, came out in 2022. This is kind of a collection of mid-tempo grooves. Again, just they're packed around with layers of guitars and synths and organ. The vocals, they're airy. I think sometimes kind of growling that really, there's just this repetitive swirl of spacey effects happening on this album. And just this warm distortion, not cold distortion. I would call it warmer distortion. The songs, if you just listen to it, you will find that the songs really have a similar flow and feel to them. Kind of sounds very similar. But with repeated listenings, you start finding out the nuances of each song. And isn't that with every album? And too often we'll listen to something, and I am super accused of that one, that, yeah, I'm not liking it, and you really got to put repeated listenings. And I do repeated listenings when I buy something, but sometimes I just don't give it its due. So this is Tess Parks. This is her second album, and this is their third album. This is Pomegranate, and this just came out. It is available at your local store. This was a good one to pick up. Come here. Okay. Sonic's Youth Evil. Sonic Youth. Boy. Evil came out in 1986, was their third album. This is my original, which I lost in the flood, that I got $700 for. I will not be bitter about that. Yes, I will be for the rest of my life. But that's from the original, but obviously I don't have a cover. So I saw this. This was in a used bin. I thought, well, by God, I need a cover for that. I know. And chances of an original aren't too great. So there we go. Evil, their third album. In this album, this is the album where they first flirted with pop. Now, when I say this, hold on. There are songs on here like Green Light, like Star Power, Expressway to Your Skull, where there is some melodicism happening. It's in there. There's some tunefulness in those songs. It's just that they have been wrapped up in all this guitar noise tunes, guitar tones and alternative tunes, tunings. That's what wraps them. I'm trying to get that out. So if you listen, you're going to hear it go, hey, I think there's something kind of, there's a melody happening in there. You'll see, when their first couple albums, and this was their second album here, one I had. This actually is an original I bought after the flood. And that's Sonic Youth's Confessions of Sex. This is what they called the no-wave movement. No-wave movement was just take out melody in that. We're just coming at you, assaulting you with sound. And Confusion of Sex is a hell of an assault with sound. Well, you do have that, but you could see they really are growing. Still the album, it really is. It's filled with it's filled with noise. There's tape experiments. There's a lot of feedback. There's screams happening. Even car sound effects are going on in here. So they're quite busy making a lot of sounds. Look how young they look too, right there. It's a dark, it's scary album. But the band, you could hear, really, truly is evolving on this album. And again, they're kind of getting away from the no-wave scene and doing more. It's experimental, but it is easier to handle than Confusion of Sex. So, Evil from Sonic Youth. A classic.
Kiss me in the shadow of the tower.
Yes, jazz. My friend over in the UK, Peter, is a big lover of Blue Note. Well, this is Prestige, Peter, so I'm sure you'll like this one because of your affinity to Blue Note. But here we go. We have Prestige. And straight ahead, this is on the Prestige label. Wow, I'm tired. This is Straight Ahead from Oliver Nelson with Eric Dolphy. Wow, now there's a crew. So Oliver Nelson, he's from St. Louis, born in 32, passed in 75, had a heart attack, working too much. Can you believe that? Yeah, he was a workaholic, and they said he worked himself to death. I'm trying not to do that now. Saxophone player, a clarinet. He was an arranger, a composer, and a band leader. This guy really did a lot. Not much here as far as label. Again, we got new jazz. That's pretty neat. So, I've got this off Vinyl Me Please, using up those credits. He was born into a musical family, started by playing the piano, switched over to the saxophone. But mom, dad, everybody played music. In his life, he did an incredible amount of TV and soundtrack work. That was his thing, a lot of that stuff. But he also was doing his jazz albums really before that. And on this one, he teams up with Eric Dolphy. Now, Nelson, he plays the alto and tenor sax. Dolphy plays an alto sax, but he'll play the flute and the bass clarinet, which I'm not a big fan of, but there it is. Eric Dolphy is avant-garde. This guy takes that music and he goes out into a whole different world. Opposite style of what Oliver Nelson is. So here we got a case of opposites attracting, I guess you could say. The thing is, it actually does work. You have songs like 6 and 4, which just is a swinging song, and I think that's the one I'm giving you a sample of. There is Images, which kind of has a very dark feel to it. It's that damn bass clarinet that gives it kind of a creepy sound. Straight Ahead, which is the title track, very memorable, well-known song, very good. The solos from these two are so different. You don't question who's doing a solo on this one. They were both playing alto sax. There's no doubt about it. With Nelson, Oliver Nelson, you're going to have this beautiful melodies. You're going to have something you're snapping your fingers to. When it comes to Eric Dolphy, for many are going to go, wow, that's really interesting what it's doing. Others go, what the heck is wrong with that? I mean, again, avant-garde. But these two, they work together and made for a very nice album here. So Straight Ahead from Oliver Nelson with Eric Dolphy. And again, Vinyl Me Please. Friend Isa in Boston, one of the albums he sent me, Private Lightning. There we go. That's the group. That's the album. Private Lightning. They only had one album. This is it. Their self-titled 1980 album that came out. And on this, they have, why can't we do it like this, but then they're upside down, or that's upside down? I don't know. But here we have the very first song, Physical Speed. And Physical Speed is like the ultimate driving song. It's really cool. Drop a sample of that one on here. This has a lot of great songs, but the group was really mismanaged by its label, and they just broke. There's a violinist on here. Her name is Patty Van Noos, I believe. And she went on to have a really great career in classical and choral music. So that's her there. The one with the violin, that would be your getaway, and also the only female in there. they're also, the sounds, I would have to say, new wave's happening, and you have this new wave going on within this album, but it's more arty. There's, their lead singer Adam Sherman has these really soaring vocals. I mean, he can really get up there high. And of course, you have Ness's violin. And yeah, I said Noose. It's Ness. That was Patty Van Ness is her name. Her violin just adds something to it. It does again have an 80s feel, but you could see they were trying to do other things, trying to expand what you were hearing. Definitely already. Yeah, they're kind of a classic haircuts and all that, and from the beginning of the 80s, and of course black was in, so cool stuff. I'd never heard of them, knew nothing about them, so Isa, as always, you're the man that has your ear to all kinds of different music. Private Lightning, out of Boston.
To drop in the mail, in the cool of the evening, I find myself restless. I pull on that jacket with the corduroy wear. I tune in my AM radio. I turn the key and I go.
And this come in Galaxy 500 Uncollected. Yes, this is the, well, let's just read you what the hype says. This is Uncollected Noise New York, a complete uncollected Noise New York studio recordings of Galaxy 500, a chronological journey through rarities outtakes, including never before heard songs from the start of their incendiary career to their final studio albums. This is all the stuff you never heard. Generally, there's reasons for it, why you didn't hear it. But it is on. Isn't that a pretty blue vinyl? And the other one's also pretty blue. Nothing else. Is there any kind of... There we go. I think I got something extra in here. Huh. All right, here we go. So Galaxy 500 is a group I really like, which is why I bought this. Dean Wareham is from the group. They were definitely inspired by Andy Warhol. And, not Andy Warhol, the Velvet Underground. I just thought I had another one of these. Huh. There's 3 members, I only got 2. Oh, here we go, hold on. I'm having a hard time here, folks. There we go. There's all 3. There's Dean. So Dean Wareham, of course, went on to do Luna, which is a group I adore. So, with these, so complete uncollected from Noise New York, studio there. There is, is this an album I'm going to listen to? No, not a lot. But because I love Luna, I like Galaxy 500 a lot, I bought it to hear. Some of these have been released on a Galaxy 500 box set. They've been out there. Other stuff is just, hey, we got this here sitting in the tin. Let's send it out, because there's some people that are rabid collectors and they'll just buy it. It don't matter how bad it is, or they want to buy it. Their early stuff is very noisy, very loud. Their later stuff has a lot of melody to it, so it makes it kind of interesting. It's okay. It's not bad. But, if I'm going to pull a Galaxy 500 album out to play, is this the one I'm going to pull? This is more of a thing of interest, a thing if you want to expand a discography of a group. But for a sit down and listen, if you don't like the group, you're crazy to buy it. You're just unless that's the kind of stuff you like. You want to hear the stuff that doesn't make it. This is for you, okay? It has it all in there. 2 album set, so Galaxy 500. I'm still kind of scratching my head about it. I buy those periodically. I have bought so much less because so many groups are putting those out. I says, no, I'm not doing it. I don't need it. I'm not going to listen to it. I do try to think about that. the Fleshtones, a group formed in 76. You know, they performed at CBGB's in 76, and this is the only group that performed in 76 that has still stayed together consistently. They have never broken up. Maybe band members come and go, but the group has been there. No other group can say that, at least from the 76 group, the Fleshtones. And this is Hexbreaker. And in here, it's from IRS, which I always love that. Isn't that cool? That's just a cool record label. And we have that from IRS. So this, these guys started, two of the members, Keith Strang and John Pulaski, whatever. They were renting a house, and in the house, down in the basement, they found someone had left a bunch of musical instruments. Now, they didn't play, but they thought, well, this is kind of cool. We could start a band. They went and got some neighborhood friends and that, brought them over, and in the basement, they took these instruments that they found and formed a band and went to CBGB's. And the rest is history with the Fleshtones. Really cool, for a fun group. This is about garage rock. That's what they do. Hexbreaker, it came out in 1983. It was their second album that they did for IRS. And this is pretty good. Their album before that was, I believe, Roman Holiday, which really did well. And this one didn't do as nearly as well. But it's filled with great tunes. You have like Burning Hell on here, I believe. Burning Hell, that was the final song. It's just an anti-religion song. Hexbreaker just has this grooving, bass-driven sound happening on there. I mean, bass is incredible. Then we have, cool songs like Brainstorm. You have Screaming Skull, Legend of a Wheelman. It's fun garage rock. They take garage rock from the 60s, but they change it into new garage rock. This is the 80s. It came out in 1983, so new for 83. And so they're trying to keep great rock and roll music going, which is what they do. Fleshtones is a fun group. They've made some really cool albums. Just if you like garage rock, you never go wrong with these guys. And there's the devil, and they're in fire. Ooh, scary. So, yeah, Fleshtones. That's what we got for this week. Appreciate, as always, hanging out. Don't know what I got coming up for next week yet. I think probably hit a record store today, and maybe down in Colorado Springs, or heading that way to see what's going on. There's a place called Seven Waterfalls. That's what we're going to go see. So much to see around here. But thanks for hanging out. I'm not sure even what my midweek, if I mean a Tuesday one, if I have one or not, but it doesn't matter. It's Sunday. You're here. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.